Ashugalan, Scorpio, welcome, welcome, welcome. Scorpio, this could be a very odd time for you in a lot of ways. Because the sun is in your 8th house. And the sun is in the 8th house, is ruled by Scorpio. It's ruled by Scorpio. And yet, this is the season of Gemini. So there is a logical, mental, thinking, emotionally detached undertone to the sun in your 8th house that is emotionally attached. And there is this concept of past and future coming together. There is this concept of the mental and the emotional coming together. Two sides that barely understand one another. My thoughts become my feelings with the sun in Gemini in the 8th house. I detach by attaching. With the sun in Gemini in the 8th house. This is a very interesting time for you, Scorpio, because you rule your sign. It rules the 8th house. So this is a very interesting time for you. These two energies, they quincunx one another, naturally speaking. There's not a linear understanding of these two energies really in the 8th house. And this brings me to the overall theme this season for you, which is death. Death. Surrendering your ego, dying to your identity. This whole season, this whole seasonal month for you is all about dying to who you were, so that you can be purified, transformed, and reborn with a new sense of self. The 8th house has this preordained, if you will, sense of being able to see the future. Although you may not necessarily be able to understand it. Very mysterious. However, we're talking Scorpios. We're talking about you Scorpios here. So who but you would have a understanding of all of this? But once again, the awkwardness of the undertone of the mental and the detached, and the logical and the thinker, that undertone there, it just creates this awkwardness. It creates this almost a tension, this awkwardness. It's like, what? It doesn't make sense. And that's part of the point. It's not going to make sense. Know that all things must come to an end sometime. Know that there is a moment where all things must come to an end. Nothing escapes death. Nothing escapes death. And that it is on the other side of death that you find your immortality. One other aspect of this Scorpio, is that Venus, she is going to be in your 7th house, quincunxing with Jupiter in your 2nd house. And this is another one because Venus rules the 2nd house and the 7th house. She'll be quincunxed with Jupiter in your 2nd house. She'll also be sextiled with the North Node who is in your 9th house. The 9th house, who also quincunxes with Jupiter in your 2nd house. So the North Node is looking after travel and foreign spiritual ventures. Venus is looking after harmonious relationships. They are quincunxing with Jupiter, who's looking after finances and material gain. Now, two things that I want to bring up about this. Number one, this is Jupiter we're talking about. And if you don't have an understanding of Jupiter, Jupiter is very expansive. Jupiter is not directly involved in the direct world. Jupiter expands your knowledge, expands your prosperity, helps you to grow by expanding your awareness. So this is very beneficial to you in a lot of ways. This is super beneficial for you. And it's giving you an opportunity to grow spiritually. And at the same time, expanding on what provides physical pleasure and security in your life. However, it is not something that can be directly. Yes, you can take advantage of this moment, but it's not something that will be directly understood how it happens. Because number one, Jupiter corresponds to the crown chakra. So in other words, you've got to be willing to keep an open mind. This is about opening your mind, expanding your awareness. The crown chakra is that passageway, that gateway between the spiritual and the physical realms. It is a higher octave of the heart chakra, which does the same thing, but on a more personal scope, because Jupiter does it on a more interpersonal scope. So this is, in a way, beyond personal control. And with Jupiter's energy, you really do have to allow yourself to surrender, which means that you have to die. You have to allow your ego to die. You've got to be willing to put it to rest. There may be moments where you might cry, where you might feel a sense of pain and a sense of sorrow and a sense of loss. And it's only through mourning and grieving. This is really important. This is an important part for you. You've got to give yourself permission to mourn and to grieve. See, too often we numb ourselves to our pain because we try to stay strong. For a lot of reasons, we numb ourselves to our pain. Don't do it. And there are many things that are seeped within your unconscious self right now, Scorpio, that These things need to come up and out for you right now. And sometimes when we're not consciously aware, we're like, what? What does that mean? I don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you know what I'm talking about? Because you might not be able to think of it here. But because we're in the 8th house at this time for you, the sun is focusing its energies in your unconscious womb space. So what's in your underworld? What's in your unconscious womb space? That's where the sun is. That's where it's going. So chances are you are definitely going to be able to see, sense, and feel what I'm talking about at this time. If you're open to it, and if you allow yourself, your ego, to die, you must give it back to spirit. The sun and Jupiter are going to be in opposition with one another. So there is definitely going to be some tension created here. There's definitely going to be moments where you're going to be wanting to shift between your crown chakra, for example, and your solar plexus, for example. The part of you that wants to be personally involved and the aspect of you that needs to surrender to something more interdependent rather than independent. I'm telling you, give yourself permission to simply surrender to the process. That's going to be the easiest thing for you to do at this time. Any conflicts that come into your life right now, any troubles that happen in your life right now, know that they are speaking to deep inner turmoil happening inside of you, and therefore have an opportunity to be cleared and healed. If you can begin to see everything happening outside of you right now as if it's happening inside of you right now, and begin to question it, see, sense, and feel it from that point of view, then you are no longer pointing the finger at the next person, and you're more now questioning, what is it about this that is inside of myself that needs to be healed and needs to be cleared? This is a message. This is all of it for you right now, Scorpio, is a message. All of it. All of it happening for you right now. It's all signs and symbols and messages from within that you may not be aware of, but the sun is going to help you become more aware of it because it's focused in this direction for you. The best thing that you can do for yourself right now is to allow yourself emotionally to die. Egoistically to die. They both have ease. Please forgive me. There may be past memories, past pains, past woundings that come up for you at this time. And it may be a good thing for you to be open to it. Because maybe there are some wounds there that need to be dealt with, that need to be cleared within yourself. There may be some memories that come your way, good memories that come your way, that may get you to see, sense, and feel, whoa. This all is interconnecting itself right now. Things from the past are connecting themselves with my present self. I never recognized before that that's why I used to read that book, or that's why I used to love that song so much. Its relevance to me was different in the past, but now it has this new relevance to me now, here in the present. Now there's this new relevance and this new presence to why I played those video games, or why I climbed that tree, or why I love certain animals, or certain landscapes, or certain environments, ecosystems, or certain places. It's all going to begin to make more sense to you now. You're going to be able to see things on a whole new, deeper level than how you've ever saw them before. And how you create in the world around you is all going to be based in that. This is Scorpio season for you, even though the season is Gemini, but because it's in the 8th house, it is your Scorpio season. It's like a secondary Scorpio season for you. Embrace it. You may not necessarily understand everything that's going on, but let that death angel, the angel of death, come and take that ego, that identity away. It also may be time to experience the sexualities of yourself too. And eventually, as time goes by, you are going to have such a strength about you, a strength in your convictions, that is going to give you permission to rise above all of the hardships of your physical life. But that is a discussion for the next season.